Awesome. We'll continue to let people in, but Tommy, I want to go ahead and let you get started. For those of you who were in the training with Tommy, probably about a month or so ago now, I know a number of you reached out and have gotten some services from them and they have helped you. So that is awesome. We're going to bring Tommy back in or one of his colleagues to talk about some other things. They help people in so many different ways. And there are so many things I think as business owners, we don't understand, from business credit to different tax strategies, but even just setting up estates and trusts and wills and what are the differences, how you protect yourself. And also being able to take this information and bringing it to your clients is critical because other real estate agents aren't doing that. So how do you educate the people in your world to the highest level, even when it's not specifically to real estate, because they're going to come to you when it is that they need to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, or they have a referral, if you're the person that is knowledgeable in bringing them these things. So I think this kind of information is good for all of us as business owners and really good for us to be able to articulate to clients. So Tommy joins us the first Monday of every month, as you guys know, just to share some tips and strategies, get his information out if you guys need it, or for yourself or for clients. And he'll chat that in the chat box. And then we're going to get him on the calendar for a training in April or early May as well. So Tommy, welcome back. Nice to see you. What kind of information do you have for us today before we get into our revenue share huddle?
I love it. Of course. Great to see you as well. Thank you for having me back. Prime Corporate Services, we do a couple different things: entity structure, business credit development, tax prep and tax filing, and estate planning as well. So we are up to our ears with tax planning right now. But with that being said, I spent the last 3 days with our head attorney, and I'm so happy that's over because I feel like everyone's going to get sued. It's been a long 3 days, but there's a couple of things that I just wanted to share and takeaways that I had with him this weekend that I figure are very fitting to bring back to this community here. So the first thing that I want to share is 2 strategies that the IRS recently posted on the IRS website that I think are nice to put some numbers to it. Say what you want about statistics, but these are the statistics that were on the IRS website. So the first thing is that having an LLC and being a business owner is 300 times less likely to be audited than simply being an individual. So a lot of brokers, a lot of agents that currently are under your name and your social security number, if we simply take the step of having an LLC or a PLLC or an S Corp, depending on the guidelines of where you live, 300 times less likely is well worth it to have that in place. I think that's the first major takeaway I had from him this weekend. The second, I've filed an extension every year for the last 15 years. So it's kind of just what I've done and the strategy that I've utilized. But in addition to the 300 times, there is an additional 200 times less likely if you file an extension. So you can get up to 500 times less likely of going through an audit if you're structured as a business and if you file an extension. The extension seems to be so simple, but it just gives them less time to audit. And a lot of the people they hire to do the audits, they only contract through May or June with the IRS. So pretty interesting, right? I thought
very interesting.
For them to be even numbers, I've got my own suspicions on statistics, but I'm not going to get into that today. It was compelling enough for me to bring it back and share it with all of you. But I thought those were 2 awesome takeaways that I had from our attorney this weekend. The other thing with the mention that I have about the participation trophies of making more money and having better credit, paying more. A lot of what we practice and what we preach is how to keep more money in your corner. It's not about what you make, it's what you keep. And all of the horror stories that I heard this weekend around trust, wills, living wills, power of attorneys, I've always been a believer. This is what I've preached and talked about for the last 10 years, but the amount of different strategies and the amount of different stories that I heard this weekend on people going through probate, I encourage everyone watching this, if you don't have a trust or a will, please talk to us about it, of what it would take to get those things in place so that you have the peace of mind of knowing that your assets are protected and knowing that if something was to happen to you, you know where all of your assets are going to end up. The next component with that is active versus passive income. The amount of people that I talked to this weekend that had long-term rentals, that they were including that with their real estate income. So they have active and ordinary income, and they're selling real estate, and they're taxed at the highest rate of 10 to 37%. But they're telling me, oh, I have a couple rental properties. I just put them in the same LLC. Is that okay? You can do it, but please don't. Separate those things out. If we can have the passive income and you can have your long-term real estate taxed 0 to 20%, and then you can also accelerate the depreciation. When my wife told me that potential change on April 1st, my first thought was like, oh, just separate out some income in a different entity, lower your taxable income, and qualify as a business to purchase these properties as opposed to an individual. Is that too easy? I don't know. I want to join the calls and I want to hear what you bring in from a lender standpoint as well. But yeah, I'm sure there's a workaround, and I'm sure there's ways that we can continue to learn from each other on how to get around those. But keep that in mind. The last thing before I wrap up here and turn it back over to you, the tax strategy, asset protection wise, please put some focus into the trust and the will. But from a tax standpoint, a couple really cool strategies that were shared that I wanted to bring back here as well. The first one is the Augusta rule, renting out your house up to 14 days a year and being able to rent that out from yourself as your business, whether it's for get-togethers, parties, anything like that, massive tax savings there. The other two strategies are unique. And the first one is paying your children. A lot of times it has, they can help you with cleaning your office. They can help you with your mailers. What are the odd jobs that you could pay your children up to $12,950 a year, where they don't have to file the taxes, but you get to write that off. And then the third and final is gifts, right? It can't be for immediate family often, but are you giving out? I know all of you, when you're closing deals, are giving closing gifts and all these other things, but up to $17,000 a year of direct deduction straight back to you. So easy ways for major tax strategy. Like I said last week, please have an alibi. One of the highest reasons people get audited is because of mileage. And I know mileage is big in this business. Track your expenses. Have a system, whether it's Mile IQ, QuickBooks, Keeper Tax. As long as you have an alibi that if you were to get audited, you can say, no, here's my records, here's my logs. 90% of people lose those audits because they don't have a simple alibi saying, no, I track my expenses and I have a way to keep those records. As long as you do that, you should be okay. So that's all I have for today. I know I'm running out of time. So any questions?
Let's see if there's questions, because this is really good stuff. And it's things that you need to be thinking about and you need to be doing for yourself, and also for all of those clients that are business owners that you service, because this is how you continue to bring them value.
Question for you, Tommy. The up to 17,000 of gifts, is that totally separate than giving?
Yes, it is totally separate.
Okay.
So charity and charitable donations in comparison to actual gifts are totally different. Correct. Okay. Yeah, great question.
It is a great question. Any other questions on this stuff, you guys?
Glenn's got one here in the chat as well. So for children working, does there need to be proof of that, like a sign-in sheet or pictures of them actually working? Great question once again. Keep in mind that it is lower income. So because it's under $12,950 is what the strategy is built around, it means that they didn't make enough money to have to file a tax return. So does it help if you have actual proof? Does it help if you log it? Of course, it goes back to having that alibi. There's two major creditors, public and private. The public creditors are the IRS. Those are the ones that are trying to come for the tax money. The private creditors are oftentimes the frivolous or the lawsuits that happen to you or your business directly. So having the entity structure and having the alibi to track the expenses is always going to make it easier. But when in doubt, absolutely track what they're doing for you and how they're doing it.
Great questions. Anything else?
Becky, I can't wait. This is some morning reading for me. Thank you.
Yeah, so I put the Mortgage News Daily, all of the changes for the mortgages. I mean, it's pretty well spelled out right there. That's a link that you guys can go to, and they break it down very, very simply. So you can print it out, have it for your clients, yourself, etc.
Love it. Thank you, Becky, for that. Awesome. Awesome. Tommy, all your information in the chat, if you don't mind, if it's not there yet. You guys, if you have questions for yourself or your clients, definitely reach out to them. They're awesome. I think I'm highly recommended by many people within EXP, and they're just here to be a resource for all of us. And it really, really is important for us to be making sure we're keeping as much of what we're making at all times of our career. But I think as we move into any sort of changing market, it's even more important. So if this is a space that you've been like, oh, I should be doing better at this, and I just haven't yet, this might be a priority that I would encourage you to spend some time focusing on. Tommy, any final words?
I put the link in the chat. If anyone wants that free consultation, please take advantage of it. I think the best thing, my mom was an agent, my wife's an agent, my dad owned a brokerage. And the one thing I'll say, no one cares about your money more than you do. But the more educated you are around trusts, around management companies, around investment properties for your clients, I think it just continues to create more opportunity for everyone. So hopefully we can help. Happy Monday. And as always, thank you for having me. Good seeing you.
And then Tommy, we'll be with you to get your time for hopefully for April. So watch for that, Connect.
I'll have one of my head CPAs or the attorney. I'm 2 months in a row. You guys are sick of me. So I'll have our CPA or our attorney come back.
Yeah, maybe you can come with them, and then they can field some questions. I think it would be awesome. Remember also, these are Zoom calls that anybody is welcome to in EXP Family Tree. And quite frankly, if you have investor clients that even aren't practicing real estate, if you have other people that would want to learn from this, you can invite them. And what a value would it be if you can invite them to a training like this and helping you get business from them because you're pouring into them. So more to come on that. We'll be marketing it out there to everybody as soon as we pick a date with Tommy and his colleague. Thanks, Tommy, for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
See ya. All right. Well, I am super excited. Becky and I are very excited today because we have an awesome guest. And, I have to say, being at the company only for about 17 months myself, I get to meet all of these people that are coming on as guests for the first time, most of the time as well. And I get to see what their bio is and where they've been. And I get inspired every single time to continue to do what it is that we're doing. And so this revenue share huddle every Monday, you guys, at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern, is here for you guys to be able to learn and be inspired and grow in the way of revenue share, if that's a goal for you. And it is open to everyone. So invite your friends. We have it live streamed in EXP Family Tree. I see a number of people watching live. So hi to you guys. Thanks for being here. It'll remain live streamed in EXP Family Tree indefinitely. So you can go back and watch this anytime. We're also recording it. It will be up on my YouTube channel within 24 hours. So if you want to share it with somebody who couldn't attend or is outside of EXP Family Tree or EXP, please send it to them. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and give an introduction because, as I said, I get to read these things in advance and then I get super excited about the call. And Sean is with us today, and I have not met you yet, Sean. So hello and nice to meet you. I'm super honored to have you on the call today. Becky, who is my co-host of this, will probably be asking you some questions as well. We're very excited you're here. Sean was in corporate America for his first 20 years in business. Then he was full-time in direct sales for 10 years. And when he joined EXP, you guys, listen to this. When he joined EXP in April of 2017, he was a brand new agent. So many of us on this call, I mean, I've been in business, Sean, for 24 years. And so this is why this is so inspiring to me, because people always get these limiting beliefs in their minds. And we all have these kind of things that come up as excuses, right? And when I hear these stories, it just reminds me that there are no excuses. If we want to do something, we can all do it. And we can be anywhere we want to be in 5 years from now if we just start getting into action today. and we remove those limiting beliefs. And I think, Sean, you're a story of that. So as a brand new agent joining EXP in April of 2017, you sold 5 houses your first year. But what was amazing is you also attracted 16 agents to the company in your first year. And what I think is incredible is, and I want to hear more about this, is those 16 agents turned into just over 400 agents in his revenue share group at the end of the first year, you guys. He had 400 agents. I thought I was doing pretty good with 150. So that's amazing. And today, he has just over 2,400 agents spread across 48 states and 8 countries. This all since 2017, joining eXp Realty as a brand new agent. And so today he's going to discuss some things that we all need to hear in order to build our revenue share organization as well, our group of awesome agents, our networks, whatever we are calling this, and we're all calling it different things. But we're going to discuss making a list, inviting, presenting, and answering questions with third party, and really the blueprint for what Sean was able to follow, which has gotten him from his first 16 agents in his first year to 2,400 today. Again, just since 2017. But on the personal note, Sean has been married for 27 years. He has 2 kids, a 26-year-old girl, a 23-year-old boy. And I am sure that this company has changed his life and his family's life in many different ways. And we're going to hear about that today as well. So without further ado, Sean, please let me know if I forgot anything else that's important for us to know. We are super excited you're here, and thank you again for your time.
Oh, hey guys, I'm honored to be here. And that was an incredible introduction, Cari. I'm kind of looking to go, so who the heck were you introducing? You do a phenomenal job of edifying. And that's hopefully something that's been trained on as well. 3-way calls, edification, all that stuff. You did a phenomenal job. And I don't know a lot about you, but I can tell the way you're leading this, I would want to be a part of it. And as much as I keep hearing about the family tree, I have not plugged in. I need to plug in and get my team to start plugging in, because this obviously sounds like a lot of incredible content. So fortunate and blessed to be here, guys. Thank you. So yeah, this is all about revenue share. And like she said, I was a new agent, 6 years ago next month. Instead of me putting the cart before the horse, I've laid out a presentation I put together yesterday afternoon going, I've done only one other call like this a few months back, and I was just all over the map. I was just talking out loud and didn't have really anything for anyone to kind of follow. And when I was done, I was having people hit me up on Workplace and asking for stuff. And I thought, okay, I need to organize something. So when I'm done, I can go, bloop, here you go. Here's what I just followed, so that you guys, if you want, can utilize it as well. Okay. So why don't I do this, and I'll share my story more as I go into this presentation. So let me share my screen. Okay, you guys got my screen there? All right, let's enlarge this. Okay, everybody with me?
Yes.
Okay, so one of the things I like to say, and to set this up, to get your revenue share thinking correctly, whether you're a new agent, whether you've been here for 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, maybe you've never really started to build your rev share, I want you to think about not just you, but the very first agent you're bringing in. All everyone would love to do is offset their cap. And we have 2 ways we can offset the cap, right? We can do it through the stock equity program. I'll touch on that 1 second. And then I'm going to go more into how this revenue share can be a side project that doesn't take a lot of your time, that you can begin to build a passive income. And I'm going to give you stepping stones that if you just follow what I'm about to share with you in conjunction with whatever else you've learned, I'm just going to give you the foundation building blocks that I've been using and I'm now building with my team. All right. So let's jump into this. First of all, this was floating around on Workplace, right? I think Thursday and Friday, mind-boggling. Here, let me move my pictures down here. Here we go. Well, I saw this and I went, okay, I got to throw this in, because a lot of times we're going to talk about your why, but something has to motivate you, inspire you and stuff. I want to make sure you understand you are at the right brokerage. Oh my gosh. There's a couple trying to emulate us. They're not even close, guys. Get with some of your alphas. They're not even close. But look at this for a minute. As agent owners, we have the opportunity to EXP to share in the revenues coming into the company. It's the 50-50 initiative. When Glenn Sanford set up the company, he wanted to find something that didn't exist, one that he as an agent would want to join. He figured if he'd want to join it, all agents want to join it. Well, the big indicator to me that separated this from every other brokerage is the 50-50 initiative. He's taken 50% of every dollar that comes into the company, putting it back into EXP for better technology, better leads, equity ownership, and for those who want to participate, revenue share. And look at the numbers just last year. Pause for a minute. 202 million in revenue share, 30 million in equity, not counting anyone's production. If you weren't a part of some of that 232 million, you owe it to you right now to step up, because that number is going to probably continue to grow. I would not be surprised in the next 5 to 10 years, $1 billion is going out in revenue and equity. Can you get yourself just 1% of 1% that can change your life? It's done it to me, and it's done it to thousands of agents. So let's get into this, you guys. Equity ownership, obviously, we all know, I'm not going to go through the details here. The biggest way for agents to do it is become an icon agent. Now, some of you on here may be like, Sean, I'm not even close to that. Maybe that's 1, 2, 3 year, something you strive to receive. Maybe some of you are, but the bottom line is, in the average market around the US, 6 to 8 home sales will cap an agent, maybe 7 to 9 home sales, $300,000 to $400,000 range. You do about 20 deals after capping, you hit icon status, and you have the ability to get all 16,000 back. That's one way you can do it, right? If you've ever studied it, it's less than, I think it's less than 5 or less than 6% of all the agents in EXP hit icon. That means 95% of you that are not hitting icon, let me show you another way to offset your cap. So let's start off right now. I'm going to be elementary, and we're going to build on this. Everybody with me? Your thumbs up? All right. So you invite your first agent. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to build rev share and you really want to create wealth, offset your cap, and start to do things that could be magical for you and your family, please focus on agents that are capping agents. I'm going to go through how you can create this long list, but if you just bring your first capping agent with you, sponsor your first agent who'd like to offset their cap. We're going to get into more detail on that in a minute. The first agent, if they're doing, 2.7 million or greater, you're going to have 2,800 per year per agent, just from your very first right there. So go to the next step. And let me go back here for a minute. Those who haven't maybe heard it, 3.5%, easiest way to think about that. You're getting 3.5% of the gross. So if I sponsor an agent, and let's say it's Cari, and Cari goes out this month and has a $10,000 commission on a home sale, right? If she's just starting, hadn't capped yet, she's going to get $8,000, $2,000 goes to EXP. EXP immediately looks and goes, who sponsored Cari? Oh, Sean did. Sean, we're going to give you 3.5% of the $10,000 of the gross. I get $350. Cari gets $8,000. Doesn't come out of her pocket. It comes from the $2,000 being paid to EXP. They share it with us. That is phenomenal, right? Now, the next building block is you want to offset your cap. I'm going to show you in the next 12 months how each and every one of you can sponsor 6 capping agents. If you just follow what I'm about to share with you, if you bring on 6 capping agents, you have just offset your cap, right? If they're all capping, you're at 16,800 minus 616, you're 800 in the black. This is better than you being an independent broker who's got the liability. Guys, this is not hard. There's no reason any one of you, if you'll focus right now with me, starting today, if you haven't been doing this, and follow the system I'm about to share with you. And I'll give you these PowerPoint too, as you can use with other agents who want to offset their cap that join you. Now, here's where this becomes fun. Now, all those agents that joined you, most agents, especially when they're first coming in, they've got a good friend or somebody they're close with they want to bring with them. You're going to help them, right? Bring that other agent on board. And just by doing 6 agents who each bring 1, you're at $36,000 a year passive, $3,000 a month. And if you're not real familiar with this, you might be thinking, oh, that's not really a lot of money. Let me pause you for a minute. $3,000 a month passive, whether you get out of bed or not. I had an appointment with my financial advisor a couple months ago. Her name is Janet. I asked Janet, how much money would I have to have invested with you into mutual funds, different things we were doing, for it to kick me back $3,000 a month and not touch the principal? And she said, came back about a minute or two later, said probably about $850,000. So let's say it this way. You would, for you, if you don't build the rev share, later in life, if you want to retire, just to have $3,000 a month coming in, not touch the principal, you're going to have to save $750,000 to $1 million after expenses and after taxes. I would ask you right now, how are you doing with that so far? I can sit here and say right now, most of the people viewing this or that will ever view it are not there. There's those few and far between. Again, how many people hit icon in the company? Around 5%. So 95% aren't. So here's a way right now, to me, way easier. What if this took you 3 years to do it? Find 6 capping agents who each find 1. That's as if you just set aside $750,000 in an investment account. Would it be easier for you to do that or to go find 6 agents who each find 1? Okay, you guys with me so far? Now, a lot of you going, I want to go to another level, Sean. Let's talk about setting yourself up to create generational wealth and giving you massive peace of mind. Guess what, those 6 agents, if you do this correctly when they're coming in, every agent when they come in wants to offset their cap. I promise you. We're not going to talk about recruiting. We're talking about everybody's just helping other agents offset their cap with a phenomenal brokerage model that no one has what we have to offer, right? 6 agents who each bring 6. We focus on capping agents. You're at $132,000 a year, $11,000 a month.
Okay, I need to pause. I need to pause because did you all hear that? Stop talking about recruiting. Go find agents, and together you all help each other offset your caps. So you're all at a company for free because you just decide to work together and help each other anyway, which, by the way, in a lot of the collaborative groups that we have across the country, they're all helping each other do more transactions because they're collaborating, sharing buyer needs, pre-lists, putting things out there. So they're already helping each other do more business. And now they're helping each other by being together in business to be at a brokerage that offers them all of these things, and they don't have to then pay a cap. And we keep talking about how do you keep more of your money? It's not about making more all the time. It's also about how are we keeping more as entrepreneurs? This is huge, you guys. Awesome.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great summary. All right, so I'm going to show this to make sure, just for some people that may not be as familiar with this, but we're just going to touch on it very briefly. Every agent you ever sponsor or personally attract yourself is on your tier 1, right? And you can make up to $2,800 per agent per year. If by chance they're a half capper doing 1.3, 1.4 million, you'd make about half that, right? About 1,400. But I'm telling you, if you're going to focus on this, I'll show you how to make your list in a minute. Focus on capping agents, because if they capped when you sponsor them, if they would have capped had they been here the year before, good chance they're going to probably do it again, right? And you don't have to hold their hand, don't have to necessarily teach them how to do a transaction. We're going to plug them in and show them how our model can offset their cap and put them over 100%. Agents you bring in tier 1, I don't care if it's 10, 50, 100, there's no cap on it, right? But some of those agents on tier 1, they're going to begin to sponsor agents, show up on your tier 2. On that tier 2, you can make up to $3,200 per agent per year there. How can you get to where you're overriding tier 2? Look here on the left. Once you've personally sponsored or attracted 5, it unlocks tier 2. Now you're getting paid on both tier 1 and tier 2, right? Some of the agents on tier 2, they'll sponsor agents on to your tier 3, make up to $2,000 per agent per year. How? By you personally sponsoring 10 unlocks 3. Now, I'm going to stop here and say that I'm going to show you that you can create wealth like we just showed you just within your first 2 tiers. 6 who find 6. Forget about these 7 tiers, guys. The Brent Goves, the Rick Tomasani, who are people I'm seeing on here, we've destroyed this and we're all making money we can't even fathom. But I want to take everybody up to what is realistic and believable. You can go find 6 agents who want to offset their cap and you go over 100%. Now duplicate that model. So let's go a step further. I'm going to say you got to start with your why. People do things for either pleasure or to avoid pain. I got in here to tell my story. I've got to keep it brief because I got some other slides to go through, but I'll just be very vulnerable for a minute. I'm 57 years old, been here, be 6 years next month. So I joined here at 51. I was not in a good place. Twice in my life, I had more money going out of my household than coming in. The day I joined DXP, I was in that situation. I had a massive bad investment, a big bad investment, and I lost a ton of money. And I've found myself at 51, almost in a feeble position going, oh my gosh, I'm wife, kids. I don't have anything set aside for my family. I'm starting my life over at 51. I was in a pretty desperate situation to make up for something I had just lost. And about 17 to 18 years earlier than that, I was in another situation. Again, being an entrepreneur for quite a while, I've made some mistakes along the way and I continue to grow, but I feel like God put this in my path to take everything that I've learned before, sink into this, and then see if I can help others do the same to help change their life. So anyway, my story's been a pain. Yours could be pleasure. Maybe in your mindset, you're going, man, what would life look like? Man, if I had 132,000 coming in, whether I got out of bed or not, man, maybe my wife and I could take a whole month off and just go travel Europe and not have to worry about a thing. Time and money weren't an issue at all. Maybe you've got money. Maybe you need to help your kids go to one of these incredible colleges they want to go to. Maybe you've got a ton of debt that's just stressing you out. Whatever it is, figure out whether it's pain or pleasure, sink into it, guys, and you've got to dig for your why. There's a great video out there by Simon Sinek called Start With Your Why. If you just Google Simon Sinek why or start with your why, it'll pop up. He's got a shortened version, like 15 minutes. It is good to help you discover your why and really help you dig deep. But the big goal for every one of you, to start big for a minute, is you want to get enough revenue share coming in that covers all of your outgoing expenses. That is called freedom. When you don't have to worry about time and money and bills are all covered. So that's the big goal. But let's now break this down into small little bitty stepping stones. So again, first goal for any agent should be to offset your 16K cap. You do that by attracting and sponsoring 6 agents in 1 year. We're going to walk through the numbers. So you need to make a large list of agents, right? Brokers, whoever you know. I'm going to show you how you can make that list. Invite them to see a presentation, a luncheon, a webinar, coffee, a Zoom, some way that they're going to see the information, right? Show the presentation. You either close or follow up or put them into a follow-up schedule, bring a third party on this. We can only go so deep, right, in this short presentation, but I want to give just the building blocks for you to begin with. So 7 ways to build your agent attraction list, right? Start right now with the deals that you may have going on right now with cooperating agents. You can choose who you want to be on your rev share team. Then look for the deals you've done in the past with agents that were cooperating agents. The other agent, your MLS, you haven't done a deal with, but they would know you by first name if you called them, right? All other agents in your MLS, go all find the ones that are doing about 3 million or greater, make a long list. Agents you know anywhere in the world where EXP does business, right? About 24 countries now in the whole US. Then the agents your friends and family know wherever they live. This was by far my biggest list. I was a brand new agent. I had 12 friends of mine that I knew that were agents. I reached out to all 12 of them the first 30 days. Within about 6 months, 10 of those 12 came over with me. Those 10 changed my entire life. Guys, they were the people I knew. They were closest to me. And I said, will you do me a favor? I've seen a model unlike anything I've ever seen. There's a brokerage that's paying you multiple ways. They can help you go over 100%. They can set up passive income. It's phenomenal. Will you do me a favor? I would love your sincere feedback. I've never seen anything like this. Whatever I said, I'm sure I was brand new when I was green, but I was jacked out of my mind. When I saw the presentation from Rob Flick, I looked back at Rob after the presentation and I went, let me ask you a question, Rob. How many other brokerages are doing this? And at the time he said, Sean, no one that we're aware of. I looked at him and said, Rob, if that's a real thing, why wouldn't every agent just join EXP? He kind of looked at me with his smile and said, well, Sean, one day we think they will. There was about 3,500 agents when I joined. 5 years later, there's 88,000. Guys, something's happening here, right? 500 to 1,000 every single week continue to come now in the last year. And then obviously your Facebook friends and LinkedIn connections. And let me go back to the friends. Here's the best thing that I did, guys, to keep this simple. If you have not done this, grab your phone. You could start today and shoot out 20 texts a day, copy, paste, and just simply, when I was a new agent, I was saying something like, oh, hey, Cari, I hope you and the family are blessed. Hey, recently got my real estate license, working on a big project, looking for an agent in your area I could team up with. Exactly what I was doing. I'm working on a big project, right? I'm looking for an area, somebody who wants to come do this with me. It was a great way. Guess what happened? I'd get 15 to 20 names a day. I did that in the first month. I had 500 names. I had more agents than I knew what to do. And none of them were a cold call, right? Because now when I call whoever Cari gave me, if she gave me a friend and wasn't an agent, it's somewhat of a warm call because I'm going to bring up Cari and ask, how do you know Cari and so forth? And we're going to begin, at least we got something in common, and that would break the ice. That's how I started to begin with after my first 12 agents. Okay. Now, how do you break it down into small bite sizes? I'm going to tell you this is no more than 30 minutes a day. If you're taking more than 30 minutes a day, you're spending too much time. You're saying too much on the phone, right? Telling too much is selling. We got to learn to be very brief, create curiosity, and get them to the presentation. So 5 calls a day, in my opinion, from doing this and having a bunch of agents on my team that do it, you're going to usually have 2 agents that pick up. Let's just say on average, 2 conversations. That would mean if you did that every day for 5 days a week, just 30 minutes, guys, you could probably do this even in 15 to 20 minutes, right? But 10 conversations a week would lead to probably 3 appointments. Why do I say that? NAR tells us, the National Association of Realtors, 1 out of every 3 agents out there somewhere in the United States or worldwide is a little discouraged or dissatisfied about their current situation, whether it's their production's down, whether something's changed at the brokerage, the comp plan, whatever it is, they're just a little discouraged. Guess what? They're open. Perfect time. So as I teach people right now, when you're making calls to begin with, we're not going to teach you how to overcome objections and all that stuff. You're looking for the agent that's looking for you, looking for the agent that's looking for us. You're trying to find that 1 out of 3. Well, if you have 10 conversations, good chance 3 of those are a little discouraged. They would most likely be open to take a look at our model. Okay, everybody with me so far? That makes sense? So 3 appointments per week, you're going to probably have 1 to 2 show up. This is what I have found. Every time I set Zooms, I do a lot of Zooms is what I do. About 50% is the show up rate. Most of the time it's because they had something come up. A client called them, they just had to go do it. And all I've noticed, if I have to reschedule them, it gets a little tougher to get them back on the calendar. So I want to make sure that each one of you, as you do this, set at least 2 Zooms a week. Good chance one's going to stick. You may have both stick, you may lose them both, but you should average at least 1. Okay. So again, what have we talked about? 30 minutes a day, making 5 outbound calls. Everything's very doable. How bad do you want it? What do you want your life to look like 2 years from now? Do you want 132,000 passive income? Change your entire life. And I promise when you get there, you won't slow down. You'll be so darn excited because other agents on your team will be excited and this thing begins to fuel itself, but it starts with you. So minimum 1 appointment per week is 4 appointments per month or 8 appointments in 2 months. So if you do 8 appointments in 2 months, whether they go to a webinar, come to a live luncheon, one-on-one, Zoom, whatever, 8 different agents see the EXP presentation. It is too good to not have an agent want to join you. So just now, that means every other month, if you follow what I'm showing you right now, you should have an agent. And trust me, you can go into your EXP enterprise or go into your back office for your rev share. If you don't know your 6 agents above you, you can go back. There's a link you can click on that'll show you this. I promise you there's someone up there. If it's not your direct sponsor, the one above them, someone is there that would be willing to help you on 3-way calls and stuff as well, or team up with some people you know here and that you know within EXP or the what you guys got going on here. So 8 presentations every 2 months should lead to at least 1 join. And I hope everybody believes that, because you have to believe. And here's the way I want you to believe. 1,000 agents are going to join in the next 7 days. You just want 1. Well, that means 6,000 to 8,000 in the next 2 months. You need 1 out of the 6,000 to 7,000 agents joining. 1 should be yours. The only way that's going to happen for most of us is by making some outbound calls and getting a little bit uncomfortable, right? There's a few people out there. We know them, the Mike Sherrards, the AJ Mighty, the people that got this incredible YouTube video. I'm working on mine. Hopefully you're starting to work on yours. That's not going to happen overnight. That may take you 2, 3, 4 years to get a following, or hopefully agents are calling you one day, but I would not wait. Don't wait till we're sitting at 250,000 agents before you're going, well, I'm trying to build my YouTube channel. Get out of your comfort zone. Change your life and your families. If you focus all your efforts on agents who do 3 million a year or greater, 6 capping agents, you'll well have capped. Now, here's kind of the script I go with. So instead of writing out a script, I simply have bullet points in front of me. I got the Post-it note right here on my computer in front of me. So when I'm in a dialogue, again, I'm going to give you guys a copy of this. These are the, if you want to call them one-liners, the whole goal of a phone call is to create curiosity to get them to see a presentation. So this is what I put together. And this isn't just me. I've got agents on my team that have helped me pull this together. If there's something so magical about building a RevShare team, I've got all these agents now, right? 2,400 plus agents, and I am surrounded by unbelievable agents who I'm learning from every day. So a lot of this has been put together by agents that I attracted who brought their skill set and have continued to fine tune this thing. So this isn't just coming from me, it's coming from me and my team. So EXP is exploding everywhere. Not calling to get you to change brokers. Your volume is ideal for one of our programs. Have you seen the 2023 EXP Realty presentation? More importantly, have you had it personalized according to what you need and for your volume? We have 500 to 1,000 agents a week joining every single week for the last year straight. You could offset your entire cap and go over 100% commission. You can get set up for retirement and you can get paid 3 different ways here at EXP instead of just 1. These are just little one-liners I will use in the midst of a phone call. So I'll just give you just a brief example. If I was making a phone call to Cari. Let's say Cari and I knew each other. We've done some transactions in the past, whatever. We talk, we get caught up, man. How things going for you right now? Thank God the interest rates are finally starting to come down a smidgen. The prices are finally starting to settle down. And how things been going with you? And we chit chat for a minute. Maybe she's a personality. It's like, hey, Shauna, it's going good, man. I'm real busy. What can I help you with today? Whatever it is, right? I'm either going to be a little bit of small talk on the front end, or it's real brief and I jump right into it, right? But I say, hey, Cari, first of all, thank you, man. I appreciate your time and congrats on what you've been doing. I don't mean to be stalking, but I follow you online and, hats off to you. I love your presence online. I always try to be very sincere with a very sincere compliment to whoever I'm talking to. I go pull them up online, do a little bit of background so I have something that I can find in common and compliment. But then I'm simply going to go, Cari, hey, the other reason I was calling you is, listen, I know you know I'm at EXP and EXP is exploding everywhere. Listen, Cari, I'm not calling you, ask you to change brokers. But listen, your volume is ideal for one of our programs. When I saw the kind of volume you're doing consistently, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to reach out to Cari. May I just simply ask you this question? Has anyone ever set you down and really had you take a close look at the 2023 EXP Realty presentation? But more important than that, Cari, had it personalized for your volume and what's important to you, showed you the 3 different ways you could get compensated and go over 100% commission? Has anybody ever done that for you, Cari? That's my question. I'm looking for the person that's going, no, what do you mean? And if they, again, I don't want to go back into role playing and overcome objections. You're looking for the person that's going, no, what do you mean? 100%. Say, listen, if you're open to it, why don't you and I set up a meeting? Maybe we can grab coffee or we can grab a Zoom, whatever you guys feel comfortable doing. I love Zooms, and here's my only reason. 1, I'm no longer focusing on my market, but 2, to me, I want to start there because time is of the essence. It's hard to get an agent's time anyway, but I can generally grab 20 to 30 minutes to jump on a Zoom with them, right? So I'm going to set up that Zoom and walk them through the presentation. And I got videos I play and stuff too. A lot of times I don't do it live. I'll press play from one of the agents on my team who's done a presentation, right? Or Brent Goves. So get your mindset right. You need to quit thinking it is too hard to sponsor an agent. Let me ask you the question. Would you like to offset your cap? Do you think agents out there, if they truly knew what this model could do for them, they'd want to be a part of it? I'm talking about the agents who want more, right? The agents that are really out there trying to produce. Talking about the part-time agents, that this model may not be for that agent. But if you're an agent, which most agents get into the industry to excel, make money, they want it to be their main thing, there is no other model like this. And until you're sold to the core, you're going to have a hard time doing this. I love Brent Gove, right? And the enthusiasm he has, it's so contagious, you just want to almost fall in, right? He's so sold out on what this can do that people feel it. Well, you need to be sold out yourself. Let me go there. I don't even think I have that as a line. I'm just throwing that in for you. 1 in 3 agents are discouraged or dissatisfied. Approximately 4,000 agents are joining every month. One of those should be yours. Do you think your joining agent would like to offset their cap? Absolutely. They can do it by iconing or come over here on a side project. Duplicate. We want this to duplicate. So every time someone comes in, ask would they like to offset their cap if they're not an icon agent. They say yes. Walk them through, or maybe we get a recording, somebody records this for you, whatever you want to do. Walk them through this. I promise they want to offset their cap, and they know other agents that if they could see this model like they saw it, they'd want to join them, right? What's the last line? I've got it blocked here. Oops. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm on the last one. Okay. Duplicate 60. So we can stop right there. I definitely could do some Q&A, answer any kind of questions, but hopefully that gives you guys kind of a foundational piece. At least I wasn't all over the map. I was following something. So questions about anything.
Let's take a peek here. And Becky's been doing a phenomenal job. She's been taking notes, you guys. So make sure you go in the chat and grab those. John, who's been recruiting for a very long time at a different company, he said, your numbers are spot on. 2 conversations for every 5 calls, 1 appointment for every 3 conversations is pretty predictable. For appointments with cappers. And so that is, equating to 1 agent join, that's 19.5 in 12 months. So, I mean, you guys, you break it down like that, and it just really is a system. Anybody can bring in those 19.5, and let's just say we fall short and we get 15. Sean, you had 16, right? I mean, I had 12 last year, and I was pretty strategic about it, but it equated to right now we're at 165 inside about 17 months. Now there's actually 20 people in the front line, but I mean, it is compounding. These numbers aren't made up, and they're all pretty consistent. little bit of differentiation here, but pretty consistent. So I can get you guys the slide deck. I think, Sean, you'd be able to share that with me.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So Sean will share that with me and I can get that to everybody in EXP Family Tree. We have a lot of comments. This presentation is amazing. I agree. What questions, you guys? Just unmute yourself. We have about 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. So does anybody have a comment, an aha, or a question? You can just unmute yourself and share. I'd love to hear a couple.
Here we go.
Hey,
Well,
yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
wait.
Sean, do you know if anybody's having success using Market View Broker?
I use it.
I use it.
I use it too.
Sweet.
I use it just for one market. I focus on the Houston market right now. I've been there for about a year, building another team down there. Praise God, I got some money coming in right now, so I don't mind keeping it live. But FYI, what you could do, if money's a little tight right now, you're just trying to build this, go open it up for 1 month if you want, in a big market that you want to focus on, and then go look up agents all greater than 3 million, or all agents doing, whatever, 15 transactions or greater. And you can pull all of them off on a CSV file, put them in an Excel spreadsheet, and then just drop the Market View Broker.
I was just going to say, we did that in a couple of, we did that in a couple markets because we didn't want to hold it open in multiple markets. We do have it open here in our local market as well, to Sean's point, because we use it every day with local, but we've been able to do that just to grab the updated contact information from Market View. And then you can go and utilize, just take those spreadsheets and make your call, send your emails through a MailChimp or something like that.
Love it.
Very cool. Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, I have a quick question. So Sean, what would you say? Because this is what I hear, sometimes when I'm talking to agents, I've actually had them say this to me. Hey, at EXP is already so big. I wish I would have joined, back in 2016, 2017, but now you're almost at 100,000 agents. So, how can I make an impact? How can I go deep and do what other people have done if it's already kind of grown to a high level? You've seen it both ways, right? Like, you're bringing folks in now in your organization who are having traction. So what would you say to that mindset, and what would be the first script you would use if you had to cold call because you didn't know anyone, right? So kind of two different questions.
Yeah. So back to the original question, and I mean this sincerely, when I started back in 2017, it's almost the best analogy I can give you. This was a very rocky road. Onboarding could take sometimes 2 weeks, and a lot of agents would quit before they ever get onboarded. Then they would get onboarded. The support wasn't quite the foundation wasn't really there yet, and they definitely were not ready for the growth we went through. So I can tell you, those first 2 to 3 years, unless you were a real forward thinker and stuff, we lost a lot of agents in the midst of them coming on board because we were not prepared for. I mean, I think the moment Gene Frederick brought on Rob, within 6 months, there was 200 agents coming on a week, almost within the first year of Rob and Gene teaming up together. Company wasn't ready for that. So I say that to go, the foundation today is built. 10 times more confident today, calling an agent, a broker, a big leader, someone doing 15, 20 million. I know that if they get in this model, we're not perfect, but boy, howdy, we're getting good. And we're getting better and better. And I know there's things in the pike right now that are getting ready to get rolled out this year. They're going to make it even better for every one of us. So that's my first response. Way harder to build it back a few years ago than it was today. We're pretty squeaky clean. The foundation's built. We wouldn't continue to have 500 to 1,000 agents a week coming every single week consistently for over a year if we weren't good. I always tell an agent, trust me, we wouldn't have 4,000 agents coming every month if they came over here and their volume was going backwards. They're coming over here and they're growing, they're increasing, right? But back to a cold call, again, that's what I basically did for that first few years, but I did it through a friend of a friend. So I would challenge you right now, if you've already gone through those 7 different ways, if you've already gone through all those, I'm pretty flabbergasted. That's a lot of phone calls. Has anybody gone through those hundreds and hundreds of names? Be honest.
No.
Okay. I would tell you there's really no reason to cold call. If you don't have to, for the most part, you can, and we can talk about it, but I would go through those categories in that order. I put them in that order to begin with. That's the way I'd go through them. But even when you get down to number 4 or 5, you should be getting friends of your friends that are agents, right? Every one of you probably have 100+ names in your phone. I bet you 90% of them have bought a house and they know an agent. Some of them have a good agent friend. That's who you want to get your referrals from and start to call them, right? So I don't know if Becky, if you want me to role play that with you, but that's that call is pretty simple, right? If I'll just go with this way, Cari. If Cari gave me your name, Becky, and I was calling you, right? My phone call would be like, as soon as it go ring, you pick up and say hi to say, hey, Becky. Say, hey, my name is Sean Sturrock. I'm a realtor back in Dallas, Fort Worth. And I was talking to a good friend of ours, Cari Briner, and she was telling me that you're one of the top agents there. I was asking her, first of all, I'm working on a big project. I'm sorry. And I was asking her who she knew in the area that was a really good quality agent that I might be able to team up with. She brought up your name. So first of all, if you don't mind me asking, Becky, how do you know Cari again?
You know, I sold Cari a house last year.
Ah, okay. So you guys aren't really necessarily tight and close friends. You've just kind of helped her. And hopefully you're staying in contact, because I know she always talks about wanting to move up in the world and possibly get a bigger home and stuff. Well, first of all, congrats. Let me ask, I'm going to keep this real brief. First of all, I appreciate you even giving me a minute of your time. I know you're busy. I looked you up online for a second. I mean, you got a great online presence, Becky. You really, really do. And to see the volume that you've been doing consistently, man, hats off to you. I mean, I know you're one of the top agents there in the area. Do you mind me asking? Here's the other reason I wanted to call you. I want to get straight to the point. Obviously, I'm sure you're aware of this. EXP is exploding everywhere, Becky, and I'm not asking you to switch brokers, but I just noticed that your volume is ideal for one of our programs, and I simply wanted to ask you, has anybody ever taken the time to share with you the 2023 EXP Realty presentation, but more important than that, Becky, personalized it according to your volume and what you need, and showed you how you could go well up over 100% commission? Have any ever done that for you?
No, because I've never really been interested in moving for my company. So I've never had that conversation. Yeah.
Would you be open if I could show you a way within your real estate that you're doing right now, how you could go well up over 100% commission, or go over 100% and get set up for potential retirement? Would you be open if I just at least shared the model with you? Again, zero pressure at all, but I would think somebody of your caliber would want to know why we have about 1,000 agents every single week, Becky, to make the move over here. That has never happened before in real estate history. There's a reason for it. I'd love to be the one to at least share that with you so that you fully understand. And once we're done, Becky, I'll send everything over to you. You can keep it handy. And I always like to end it this way, guys. And I'll say, Becky, if I had a goal in mind with you, other than to share with you how this model could impact you if you ever decide to partner with us, I would love to be your destination brokerage. If something ever changes in your current situation, you know how our industry is, things could change. I'd love for you to be immediately in your mind, go, oh, it's a no-brainer. If I'm leaving here, I'm going to join Sean at EXP. I'd love to be the one to at least share the model. Would you be open to you and I just jumping on a quick 20, 30-minute Zoom?
And I just want to say something real quick, guys. I was going to give Sean an objection until he said, I know an agent of your caliber would be interested to hear why 1,000 agents a week are coming over into our brokerage. That was key for me. It was kind of like, oh yeah, I kind of would like to know that. 1,000.
And where's that coming from again? Remember, I put those bullet points up there. So I've just got them right in front of me. When I'm having a phone call with someone, make 2 or 3 of them, put one in your car. If your car you're driving right there, and stick it on your dash. They're just little bullet points that, you know, and after, you know the deal, after you make 20 or 30 conversations, you'll have those all down and you just throw them wherever, because again, we could go back and forth and start doing more and more role playing and overcome objections and all that. I want those that are right now hesitant for any pushback that you'll get to go, look, we're not looking for the ones giving pushback to begin with. If you're new, you're looking for the one who's open-minded. Again, they're looking for us. They're a little bit discouraged. I just want to boost your confidence for that. Otherwise, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm scared to pick up the phone because I don't know what to say and how to respond to this.
That's and now the time in a lot of your big major markets that is slowing down their days on market. Now's the time. Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate that. I think John Dietz has a question. We probably can we squeeze it in real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to take myself off mute. Already realized that I am. Sorry for the noise then. Sean, you did a great job.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Very impressed. So question and then a comment. So you started in 2017 as a new real estate agent and you started with EXP. That's not my question. I just want to clarify. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cari, when somebody calls you sir, you know you're getting old.
Or they're from Texas.
You betcha, John.
All right. So I'm thinking back to when I was a brand new real estate agent back in 2002 selling real estate. And I was with Keller Williams and, you know, they have profit share. And And I was so focused on building a successful real estate business that the entire conversation around recruiting and profit share and all of that stuff was a distraction for me. And I never bought into it, never made one call to anybody to have a conversation with them about joining the company. Now, my curiosity is, your experience is much different than mine. Now, in 2015, it became my job, and I realized this is easy. I should have been doing this a long time ago. I'm thinking that a lot of real estate agents kind of get turned off to the recruiting conversation, which you touched on that today. What I'm wondering is, what changed for you that revenue share became an important part of your business model? Because it's not normal for someone in their first year to make that part of their business model.
Well, that takes me back to when I opened up. I had a strong why. You need to figure out your why, right? Me just trading time for dollars. I had lost a big chunk of money in an oil and gas investment. I'm talking, it was over 6 figures, lost it all. I was in a world of hurt going, okay, I can sit and continue to sell houses. But when I saw the passive income, and I already had met Rob Flick, he had been in for 1 year and he just hit over $20,000 a month in a year. When he showed it to me that first night, I got emotional. I remember saying to my wife after Rob left the house, I said to my wife, I said, Sonia, I'm not Rob Flick, but if I'm half of Rob Flick and I end the year with $10,000 a month, I'm excited. If I'm 25% as good as Rob and I have $5,000 a month coming at the end of the year, I will have succeeded. So first of all, I had a sponsor who had already done it in 1 year. Yes, he's a stud, but he's human. And I learned from him. What are you doing? What are you saying? And I kind of went along the path. I followed his script to begin with. There was a couple folks on here, I think, that were early on with me, Juan, Bettina, and Steph. Anyway, so we followed his script. Well, today that script has changed. And I thought you were going to ask me this. I want to get this within the recording. As you make phone calls in a market today, and even you start off with that EXPs exploding everywhere, I'm not calling to get you to change brokers. Listen, your volume is ideal, and you go for that invitation to invite them. You're going to get some of this pushback where people are going to go, oh, it's EXP. You know what? I've already seen that. Or somebody showed me a webinar a year ago. I went to a luncheon 2 years ago. Let them say whatever they're going to say. And then I always pause and I'll go, hey, John, that's awesome. So you say you got to see it about 1.5 years ago. May I ask you, when you saw it and they sat down with you afterwards and they personalized the model, how much higher above 100% were you able to go? That is my comeback phrase. Again, everything's curiosity. And even though I may have said in my initial call, right, that you can go over 100%, we get paid. A lot of times they're right, you kind of caught them off guard a little bit. They're not really hearing it. And then they'll usually come back with, oh, okay, it's EXP. And when they say that, and they say they saw it, every time, I'm talking 90% of the time, I come back with that phrase, they'll be like, so what do you mean over 100%? So when they sat down and showed you the 3 different ways and applied your numbers and stuff, they didn't do that for you? Well, no. Say, listen, and then I'll immediately ask, do you mind me asking you this, John? Do you have someone right now that you've been talking to at EXP that if you ever were going to join, that's who you would join with? I usually ask that. Most of the time I'll have someone go, no, I mean, some guy reached out to me 1 year ago. I haven't heard from him since, whatever. I try to make sure we don't want to start battling against each other. But the moment I ask that question, they tend to be very open to go, no. And I said, listen, 0 strings attached. Look, I'm not asking to switch brokers at all. But John, you owe it to yourself to understand why we got about 1,000 agents a week that are making the move. And a lot of those reasons pertain to the 3 different ways we get compensated and how we've helped agents get set up for retirement, create passive income, and literally have created generational wealth. I mean, listen, I'd love to be the one to at least share the model with you, break the numbers down. Let me personalize it for you, just so you know in the future, if you ever decide to partner up with this, here's a map that you could follow that could help you go well up over 100% commission. Could we set something up? I got time Wednesday morning around 9 or maybe even Thursday afternoon around 3. Would you have any time to jump on a quick Zoom with me? And I'm coming back for the appointment. So every time I answer a question, but I always come back with the question, I'm trying to set the appointment. Your whole goal is to get them to see the information. Then hopefully you have a third party within your group that can come and help you to answer questions and that kind of thing. Does that help a little bit?
Well done. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, well done.
Awesome. This was amazing. You guys should all go back and watch this live stream in EXP Family Tree and or on my YouTube channel. It should be up within the day. Sean, thank you so much for blessing us all with your time and information. It was truly inspiring. We have tons of comments. And, you know, we all just need to get out of our heads and get into action. And we all have to dig into that why, because everybody, you guys, all of our lives could look the same way if we just put the work in today. And, you know, Sean had great faith in it and he just went for it. And now he gets to share his story. So we can all be in his place in 3, 4, 5 years, if we want to. And I guess that's all up to us. But thank you again, Sean. We really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
You guys, we'll see you here tomorrow and Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern for both of our productivity calls. Take a look at eXp Family Tree so you can see the topics. We have some really, really great trainers and we're excited to see you guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.